Let's talk about Richard Sherman. A lot of people are wondering, like, what's going on there? Is he really hurt? Did the Niners just shut him down because he stinks? What do you think is going on with Richard Sherman?
Yeah, so I have a totally different take on the Richard Sherman situation than the one I've seen circulating. I think that people thought in the Cowboys game that he quit. I didn't think that Richard Sherman quit or was making business decisions. I saw a player that was injured. I saw a player that's been dealing with leg injuries, and he's playing through it because he's Richard Sherman and he just wants to compete. To me, I feel like you can't ever question with Richard Sherman business decisions just because the guy has played through so many big time injuries and he just puts him on the field. Like last year, what was his injury last year? He missed one game. I remember it was pretty serious. It was like a pulled quad, or it was not,
Like that,
yeah, it wasn't a routine 1 week injury, and he came back. And I think Richard Sherman's future in the NFL is to go with Robert Saleh. I think the one thing that Richard Sherman adds the reason he's still very good is because Richard Sherman is one of the smartest people in the NFL. And the most important thing with being smart is that people have to know you're smart. Like, you can be a smart guy, but if nobody knows you're smart, they're not going to respect you. Everybody knows Richard Sherman is smart too, so they respect the hell out of him. And I think because of that, he's instant credibility to any coach. Because if Richard Sherman respects you, who am I not to respect you? That's Richard Sherman. So I think if you're Robert Saleh, he would be really good that way. And then the other thing is, he's been so good to the 49ers in terms of mentoring these young players, teaching them how to be professionals, how you speak to the media. I mean, how much has he done in terms of that? Not even the team does as much. Like, how much has he done mentioning guys like Jimmy Ward in every press conference and Jaquaski Tart in every press conference last year? Not even the team is putting out a lot of highlights.
Saleh, these guys he's pumped up.
Right, Jimmy Ward, and he does all those things. Right, he's a pro's pro. He's a Hall of Famer, and I think he's got 2 years just being that guy. And he'll still intercept the ball and do a couple of things because he's still Richard Sherman, one of the smartest defensive backs ever. And then I think he can go into broadcasting or being a executive, whatever he wants to be, he can do it.
One thing I'm going to say with Richard Sherman, I'm not going to say that his career is done. If he is injured, as you suspect, then he could play better next year, but he can't cover man-to-man anymore. So he needs to go to a team with a dominant pass rush. Because if you're going to play zone all the time, great, but you got to have one hell of a pass rush because you ain't winning with coverage. It'll be complementary to your pass rush. And I don't know where that is for Richard Sherman, but that's what he's looking for, right?
Maybe he does what Eric Davis says, and he plays safety his last 2 years. I don't think he could play single high, but I think he could play in a split safety defense.
And I'm sure he could play single high in certain situations if you pick and choose your spots. Just because he's so smart and he would be able to read things. But if he did it wrong, he'd be in big trouble.
They've done it this year, right? They've had him play as a robber safety. With him and Tarvarius Moore play as a robber safety, and Jimmy Ward, you go take someone in man. They did do that this year. So I think that there's still a role for him. I feel bad because I'm a big Richard Sherman fan just because I love when he roasts people. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And
I'm glad he hasn't roasted me yet.
He's been good to all.
Block me on Twitter. That's nice. I don't think I could take him roasting me. He's got like 2 million followers on Twitter. I just think I would crumble. I think I'd cry if he tried. I can take it from Armstead, but not from Richard Sherman. He's just too good. He would get you where it hurts.
Yeah, because Richard Sherman would call you a bunch of names, but he wouldn't call you just those names. He would say it in a very eloquent way where instead of calling you arrogant, he would call you pompous.
Yeah, and he'd say it in a way that I'd probably agree with him. And I'd be like, oh, man, he's right. I am those things. And then I'd hate myself. Oh, Richard, if you're watching, please be nice.